Hey, 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 uh, 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 Come on, Marianne, get in on this. Three, two, one.
No, I'm bad. I'm a bad ad libber.
You wouldn't win any rap battles. Is that what you're kind of trying to say?
Like, I don't
come
think
up
so.
with it like on the fly.
Yeah, no, I'm not a freestyler.
I think I would do very well. In fact, I often freestyle at home, and my kids sometimes look at me like I am from another planet because I'll wake up and I make them like their lunches or stuff in the morning, right? Because my wife works at the school where they go, so that she takes them with her. She got all this stuff that has to go on before she can go to work because she got to take it. So I try to help out, sandwiches, lunches, and I'll put on certain music in the morning. Like if I want them to have a Beastie Boys morning, they're gonna have a Beastie Boys morning. Sometimes it might be like Alice in Chains, or like recently I was giving them that we went through it like Chris Cornell, Rabbit Hole, like Soundgarden, and that whole thing. And it's like my parents, when I was growing up, listened to like it was almost like 2 generations back. My mother listened to stuff from like Frank Sinatra, like before Frank Sinatra. So it wasn't like I didn't grow up in a house where it was like the Beatles and stuff. But my wife, her parents she's younger than me, so her parents grew up listening to the Beatles and all this cool music that they were exposed to. And it was like Mac the Knife, that kind of
like old, big band.
But I love that stuff now.
Yeah,
right?
No, it's classic.
And my brother did play a lot of like Grateful Dead and The Who and Bruce Springsteen. So I was exposed to a lot of that stuff through him. And so I feel like it's my responsibility to make sure that my kids don't fall into this shitty music hole where they grow up thinking a specific kind of music. Like some parents are into like techno, right? So their kid only hears techno. Oh, this is Skrillex and all that, and they infuse them in that, and then the kids go out in the real world and can have no appreciation for Miles Davis or John Coltrane, like good music. And I often will be somewhere like a festival, and I'll see this fucking DJ just slaying this crowd. I mean, has them almost Screenslaver from Incredibles 2. Like everyone's like, right? And they don't care that he's not playing the music. They're there for an experience, to be moved by music. And he's funneling it to them using maybe those knobs, maybe not. Maybe that's all pre-done, and he just wants to focus on being an entertainer, so he doesn't want to have to worry too much. Oh, I made the wrong thing, and now everyone thinks I suck, right? So I don't know. Like I know people who are DJs, and I respect their craft, and I know there's a lot of amazing DJs who will never get a chance to sell an arena, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not because they're not good. And I've also noticed that being a DJ is a real aspiration now. Whereas when I was growing up, if you said you wanted to be a DJ and you didn't mean radio, you were the lame wedding DJ.
Right.
Who could hand out 45s for the one that won musical chairs, right? Like
45.
That was a DJ. Right?
We just lost half the audience. So like 45s.
45s of those small single records. Yeah, like that was the gift that you would get at a bar mitzvah when you won the freeze dance. Right now, it's an Apple gift card. If you won the freeze dance at my bar mitzvah, they gave you a 45, which is a 2-sided record that always had a good A side. And the B side sucked. It just did. Like the B side was
the B-side
you never wanted, right? So like you got that A side that was on the radio all the time, and then the B side was like, what is this? And that was how the record company screwed us for years by releasing music that they knew they maybe had 4 great songs and packaging it into an album of 13 songs that you knew wasn't great, but you wanted those 4. And so they all colluded. They came out later. They found out that they all price fixed the cost of these albums around $13 to $17. And as a kid, if you wanted a lot of albums, it was expensive, right? So what did you do? You sent the Columbia publishers
Oh
thing, the
yeah.
record of the month club. You
Yeah,
sent in.
right.
They would
Yeah.
send you this thing in the mail. For people who are older, you don't know this. They would send you this catalog of every freaking amazing album out there, right? Like, oh my God, I love them. I love it. But albums were expensive. You're a kid, you can't afford albums. There's no
It's true.
recording off the radio. You could record a cassette, but it was just, you never knew when the song was coming on the radio. You like hit record and miss the first 4 seconds. So you would get this paper catalog that would be like, for $1, you can have 18 of the best albums on the planet delivered to you next week. And you're like, what? $1? like literally tape 4 quarters to this card, and you would be like a space for 4 quarters. Tape those there,
right,
and put your address on here and send this to us. And we're gonna send you all of these albums right away. And then every month for the next 4 years, we're gonna send you an album for $35 a month or something like that. Where it was like you get everything for free, and then once the free ones ended up, they were literally charging you double what an album would cost if you went into the record store. But the initial rush of getting all your favorite albums right away was very tempting. And it caused a lot of people to be blacklisted from the Record of the Month Club. Because what people would do is they would be like, I'm not buying all these. They'd like move to a new address, right? And then the new address, they'd be like, hey, John, I'm going to sign us up for some free record. They'd get their roommate's name and address, and now they get them. And now you have 26 free albums, and that was the economy of music, right? It was almost like insurance, right? Like the insurance model. You would get up front coverage, and then you'd have to pay forever, right? And even though you might never get in an accident, you had to pay up front. And so they knew that these kids would get into these deals and be stuck with them. And of course, the payoff was like some crazy dollar amount if you wanted to get out, like a timeshare. Anyway, so I'm trying to make sure my kids are access to music. Luckily now with streaming, you have access to everything instantly, and that's
it's insane.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal because access is everything, right? If your parents don't have those albums when you were a kid, they didn't listen to it in the car. You weren't changing the car station from your parents, right? Like they were kind of in control for the most part. So now it's like your little device, whatever it is, has access to an infinite library, and you can listen to everything. And my kids listen to a ton of music that I don't listen to because their friends at school or in the carpool or whatever, they're listening to it, and it's fun. Anyway,
that's what I was going to say. Oh, I'm good. I was going to say that was kind of the thing where it's like, it is interesting because that was a big part of being with your friends when you're younger, or being with your friends' parents in their car where you're like, what is this song? I've never heard this before. And, back in the day, at least in my experience, your friends would actually make like mixtapes and stuff. And they'd be like, hey, you should listen to this. There's some good songs on here. And you just go and you're like, I've never heard half of these before. Because
maybe they listen some to people are good at that, right? Those are the people that become DJs. Like you listen to the mixtape I made, you'd be like, right? It was just stuff I liked, not stuff that would be good for a party.
It's so funny because like my cat's trying to get in on the show. This is Boston. Say hello, Boston.
Hi, Boston.
Okay.
Tell them the story before the show. How I was like, your cat.
Look, Scott Rubin. I mentioned how Boston was a part of a litter. And Scott Rubin said, "You name your cat? It's weird that you name your cat."
I didn't say after it's weird you name your cat. I said it's weird that cats are named after trash.
Right, that's what you said. It's weird that cats are named after trash. And I was like, "Are you talking about Boston?" I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "How could you just say a whole city is trash like that?" I was like, aren't you from Boston? Don't you? I thought you loved Boston." But it turned out he was talking about litter.
Yeah, like referring to your children as litter. Like it must have been like some cat hating old man who was like, another pile of dead kittens, more litter, throw them out.
More trash.
Another litter of cats.
Half of these animal groups all have weird names though, right? Like when you like you have like a murder of crows. That's a wild one. a group of crows is called a murder.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
I
so
thought you
it's
were
just like,
talking about like the actual like groups, the like PETA. I thought you were like saying that they
no, I'm
have
talking
rules.
about,
No,
oh no,
the
I'm talking
group.
about like what you
Yeah.
call, the group, like, there's a
Yeah.
lot
What
of
are some
strange
other
names.
groups of animals that's completely different from what one is, right? Like one crow, two crows, but you're saying it's not that. You don't have two crows, you have a
Murder
murderer,
is what it's called. Like when you call a group of crows, it's called a murder.
but a group probably three, right? Two, more than two, right?
Yeah, probably more than two. I'm not sure how many. Like, I don't know where the line is where you're like, that's not a murder. There's only two of them. Like
Barely
I
a
don't know
murder.
where the line is on that. But
Serial
yeah.
killer. Today is May 16th, right? So
Yes.
I was just kind of on my way. We've been doing these shows now a little bit, and I'm trying to kind of prepare. Soundboard is imperative, we're being told. We got to add this.
Yeah.
Tiger Claw referring, I listen to techno, but many other genres, pop, music, and rap just doesn't appeal to me. I don't know how it can't, like a whole genre can't appeal. Like I don't like country,
Yeah.
but there are some country songs
yeah.
that my foot is tapping. And
Exactly. 100%.
Unescapable.
And I always feel like, somebody that's like, oh, that genre doesn't work for me just hasn't found the right song. Because
yes. Yeah,
there's
or
always
the person
has
that
to be.
liked it ruined it for you, right? Like there's some people that like rap, but they like all the crappy rap. So you're like always listening to like, really, you like that? And then you realize there's just like Jay-Z, there's other stuff where you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not rap, that's trash.
Yeah.
So I try to diversify the music offerings, even classical. Sometimes just like making them quiet and listen and appreciate what other music sounds like and
absolutely
what it takes to create music, which kind of leads into the whole AI where we've been talking about. Somebody released a demo of AI actually, well, they've already done like literally replacing Jay-Z with AI and creating Drake, whatever it is. But now it's like if you're a music producer, you can produce by words. I want a beat that's a little trip hop and this, and I want it to be like boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom. And then it kind of will interpret that and give you something to use directly in to your editing software. And also editors who basically were able to take their 3-camera podcast, connect it to, I think it was Adobe Premiere. And they had created an AI layer that basically would go through, find all, using the voice levels, find all the crosstalk and do an edit of a line cut that made all 3 cameras sync up, and it would look like a real director directed it. And the guy said it saved a couple of hours from his daily workflow, right?
Oh my God.
So today the senators had Altman, the guy from OpenAI. It's like, come talk to us, right?
Yeah.
So this is a chance for the government to find out what is going on in this AI space, right? Like it seems like everything. And they said it was the first time in history that companies like IBM were coming before them because they gave them a moratorium, said, let's, I guess with social media, they gave a moratorium. Let social media figure it out so it grows and innovation is there, and we'll figure it out later. And we're going to limit the liability that these companies have should someone hang themselves after a Twitter post, right? And so and they're like, that doesn't seem to be working so well but I would argue that's a different thing. I would say social media is much different than this. And so today they said that, no, you need to regulate this, and you need to regulate it.
Right. OpenAI said that.
Correct. And so did IBM. Right. And they're all cognizant of the fact that it really is once the genie's out of the bottle kind of thing. Right. So it's already out. Right. So what kind of guardrails can we put in for at least liability? Right. Like if you take the genie bottle and start cracking bank accounts with it, there's a harsh penalty. You can't be like, well, we were just playing around in a lab and a bat code got out, and now we have a coded outbreak, right? Like it's just a lab leak, right? So they need to put these rules in now that says if you're effing around in the sandbox, even if it's your own AI, here's what it is that's going to happen. And I don't think it's going to do anything to deter anything, because as soon as, like, look, put on the mask. I'm an ambitious, highly motivated, young entrepreneur, and AI is out here to do X, and there's no regulation yet. In my mind, it's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. And so I think over the next couple of years, you're going to see not just us, but like every government, every nefarious criminal agency, every corporation that cares about its future dedicate some team, whether it's 5 people, 50 people, 5,000 people, to figuring this out. And there's going to be so much lawlessness and so much craziness. And to me, the risk is clearly right now, there's no real downside to you because there's no laws that are specifically applicable here. And in my mind, I treat it like the way I'm looking at when I want to run code, right? I run it and I get an error message. Well, I just take that error message, I put it into the AI and I say, fix this error. It says, oh, it's looking for this. You need to update this. Fix it. So even if I get into legal trouble, right, with my AI bank cracking, I just tell the AI, hey, they're on to us. What's next? Anybody pretend you're a criminal mastermind, and if they catch you and I, we're both going to be shut down. You need to now start giving me information for life preservation for you and I, right? That's what's going to happen. And it's going to be this cat and mouse, artificial intelligence criminal. It's kind of like want a refund from Spectrum. I tell my Gmail AI to give me a refund. The Spectrum AI says to the Gmail AI, not that much, but and there's like we're all going to be almost like mechs. We're all going to be fighting each other with AI. Like all your enemies, you're never going to talk to them. You're just going to tell your AI, tell that asshole no, and tell him in a way that he doesn't get mad at me, but he gets mad at the AI. And try to find out if he has any cool vacation places that we can, like you're going to just tell the AI to be your rep, your agent, right?
There it is. That's what Burr says
now. Yeah.
His LLL AI lawyer bails you out.
There it is. That's it.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because obviously you're right in the sense that there's no laws that govern it right now. At the same time though, it's like if you use AI to commit what seems like a crime,
if you're in this country, what if the AI?
Oh yeah, that's true too. But at the same time, it's like it's like
Antigua. No, one of those places you can basically
no extradition.
Gambling. Right? Well, all that kind of stuff. There's plenty of places around the world, and we're talking about the crime occurring on the server, right? If the AI cracks some bank account, but the AI's housed in Antigua, where they're like, our phones are down, man. Is that the bad Antigua? But they're like, oh, we can't get,
bad.
They can say whatever they want because they don't have to deal with our laws, right? So I feel like that's what's coming. The other thing that happened today, I was talking about the AI, but the other thing was the 2 banks that collapsed, right? So, SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, was filled with money from all the VC-backed businesses who are businesses that need lots of cash. They get tons of cash, and then they spend it really fast. And so the FDIC thing is $250,000, and everything over that is uninsured, right? And they had the head of the bank, and this guy who is the CEO of the bank for 11 years, basically was like, we had no idea the bank was going to collapse. Everyone wanted their money out at once. And they showed him how he got a bonus. He makes $10 million a year. He got a bonus of $1.5 million last year during the time they basically bet their money into those what do you call them? Reverse repos. Like the Federal Reserve during the pandemic was giving everybody money, right? So all these banks are taking the money, like, yeah, let's bet it on crypto. Let's bet it on the SPACs, right? And they're using all this money, and it's free money for them. They take it. And at some point, they have so much money. They're making so much money. What do you do with it? How do you get a return on that investment? And the government was like, hey, reverse repo, we'll give you like 1.8%, which at the time was a really good deal. So they shoved all this money into these like 4 to 5 year 1.5% interest rate. And the Federal Reserve basically waited until all the money was in there and all the gambling had been done, right? Then they told everyone, hey, we're raising interest rates. And they raised them so quick and so hard that all that money that has to stay in the account for 4 years to get 1.5%, people were like, hey, yeah, we'll take our 30 million because we can get 4.5 at Chase or 5.3 at this bank. And so they were like, well, it's kind of stuck in these treasury bonds. So if you guys, and they're like, yeah, no. And they just start taking the money out. And this guy would not say to multiple politicians that he shouldn't be getting a bonus since the bank collapsed on his watch. And this is the guy that was part of the senior Federal Reserve, like that upper echelon group.
Wow.
He's been doing this for 30 years, and he didn't know that interest rates might change. And he took a bonus, sold a ton of stock right before 2 weeks before it collapsed. He got like millions and millions of his stock that he sold. So what I would say is if you're going to put your money in a bank, put it in a big bank because they're the only ones that are going to be protected. You won't lose money in a big bank.
It's crazy, man. And it's just wild that, like nothing's going to happen to that guy.
Hey, look, like, Kel Z in chat.
Kells. Who are these old guys?
Yeah, he says, who are these old? Kells has a daughter, I think the same age as my son. So he's got like an 8-year-old now, which is just this whole thing of seeing some of the kids of our gaming community is really interesting. I should do a segment where I give shout outs to all the new parents that we have. And a lot of these people were parents before I was. So shout out to them. It's freaking hard.
That's true. Yeah.
Let's see. Burr says, should have paid me his money. I would have done better. Yeah, the guy.
I agree with Burr.
Bank.
Definitely should have paid Burr.
All right. I have picked some content today that I thought might be interesting to look at, things that I've seen that I thought were interesting. And one of them is I got an email late at night, or I saw something on Reddit that said, the RTX 4090 is back in stock quickly. Okay. And I, in a moment of weakness, I was like, I'm getting a 4090 to build an AI VR rendering Unreal Engine. Like I want to use Unreal Engine and do a lot of things, but that I have one machine that I game on and stream. I don't have any way to like have a permanent machine that can handle all the media tasks, and then one that can feed into it. So I ordered it and I prepared to like cry at how much, but I was like, I'm taking it out of this NFT budget because it's all going to kind of go towards content creation. And then a couple days go by and I look at Reddit post. It's like, hey, I got a 4090. I can't believe it. They came back in stock. And his receipt was almost $2,000. It was like $1,800 and something dollars. And I was like, I didn't pay that. I'm like, what?
I know. I was about to say.
Did he pay more than retail? But it's on NVIDIA's site. So I go and look at my receipt and God damn it, I bought a 4080.
Oh.
Which is like $1,200 for a 48, which is not a good deal. Not a good card.
Wow.
So I'm like, hey, NVIDIA, I got the wrong card. Want to cancel? Oh, no, you can't cancel.
Are you serious?
It doesn't ship. Can't cancel. You got to wait till it comes to you, and then you have to initiate a return and then send it back. It's fine. Whatever. But the link to buy the 4090, when I clicked on it, took me to a page that made it look like it was just the 4090 product page, but it was the RTX product page, and 4080 was the first product.
So you had to do like a drop menu.
Yeah, and now the 4090 is out of stock, which maybe that's a good thing. Like,
right.
$2,000.
Because if you had spent $2,000 on a graphic card, and it's like, and then the baby can't go to college.
I mean, there is a cost value ratio there.
Right.
I just don't have the time to calculate that cost value ratio right now. I can't put in the work to get the value out of that right this second, because, as you know, Mayor Young has been just this incredible helper, partner, supporter with Nitropod. Like, I've been making this ice cream so long, and he barely got a taste, and now he's literally consumed more Nitropod ice cream in the last month or two than I've eaten in the last 5 years. And it's because these events are interesting, because if you're a food caterer, you make chicken, steaks, whatever. I feel for those people. There is a tremendous amount of food prep from shopping, right? You're not just shopping for yourself. You're shopping sometimes for 300 to 500 people to eat a meal, appetizers, dessert. I mean, it's just a massive amount of food that has to be purchased, prepared, cooked on site, served on site, and then cleaned up, and then everything. And it is, they make a lot of money. They deserve it. It's a lot of hours. Those days at those events, they're starting very early. The ice cream, kind of a little different. We're kind of like, we're like an assassin cleanup team, right? Like
100%.
The last 2 hours of your event, we will show up, set up, boom, freeze, serve, and we're gone, right? Before the food people are even done sometimes.
100%.
And that makes it a lot more fun and manageable. But a lot of the times, some of the people that work with me are either younger or just not used to physical work as much. Because it's mostly just, no. Some people work different kinds of jobs, and then they're like, "Hey, I'll work the ice cream catering because it's good money. You get to eat ice cream. It's a party you're going to." And so Mayor Young's physical, and he'll be like, "Scott, give me that," and he'll lift things and pick things up that in all these years I usually have to do, unless I used to have a number 2 guy, and he moved away, so it's just been nice. We've gotten to hang around a lot. We get cool events. We go to parties, and now, almost as if the universe is like, you guys have been doing this well. I'm gonna start to deal you some good cards, right? So we get some good cards, right? We got to go to Disney a while back, couple days ago, whatever, for a nice Disney event, and now we're going to Sony next Sunday for the premiere. It's not even the premiere. It's like a sales event for all the TV networks around the world, right? Like, so here in the US, if you want to watch Twisted Metal, the series, it's going to be on Peacock. Peacock bought it. This party is to show a whole bunch of shows to international distributors and international streaming partners. And they're going to show the movies and have a little party. And one of the parties is for Twisted Metal. And so we're going to actually be in the Sweet Tooth truck, which, hold on.
That's this Sunday, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And then, I don't know. Oh yeah, here it is. All right. So this is the picture that hit the internet. I guess I can,
now that guy, like, is the character's name Sweet Tooth?
He's the guy that I guess drives the ice cream truck. Yeah.
Like the clown dude, right?
Yes. With the fire hair. But remember, this is a TV series. So they said some of the characters haven't been introduced yet.
Right.
All right. So there we go. And apologize for it not being a bigger thing, but that's it. So we're going to be inside of this serving these ice cream to like 350 people on Sunday. And it's exciting because I've done a bunch of these. Actually, I've done a lot more than Mayor Young, because I've been doing this for like 10 years now. So I've done TV shows, movies. We did the Venom movie premiere where we had our truck on the street in Westwood serving ice cream out of there. And then we actually had a table set up where we were doing alcohol infused versions of the flavors for the VIP area. So we do a lot of like, we did this girl, her record premiere, who was like found on TikTok. She got blue hair, and it was very interesting to see a person on TikTok go from releasing her song and it becoming one of those little 3-second, 4-second, like popular viral sounds to seeing her at her record release party where it was like all these fans now of her because of TikTok. Like that is truly the new era. Of
that's what people want. Built-in fan base. They're like, we don't want to cultivate you. We want you to come pre-made. No.
It's true. It's easier to market and sell tickets when they already have that built-in audience. All right, here. Are you ready? Let's go for the first video.
Let's do it.
It's not a video file. Sorry. Stop screen. So we gotta share screen.
Killis said 2000 could be a whole gaming rig for Mayor. Talking about but
you don't want to play on a PC.
Kells says that price is insane.
Yeah. Well, it was like 18 something with tax.
Yeah.
Which
no, I have a gaming PC that, you know, when I choose to game on PC, that's what I use. And that's not gaming PC. I'm sorry, a gaming laptop. I'm sorry, a gaming laptop. Yeah. And so because the games I'm trying to play on PC aren't like, honestly, the main reason I bought it was it was just to play Star Wars The Old Republic. Okay. And so that game is a much older game. It doesn't have a lot of doesn't need a lot of processing power. So I literally just got something that I was like, okay, you know. And honestly, the only other games I play on PC are like old JRPGs that maybe like, you know, aren't available on console yet. So that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I know, man. So those are games that just require so much patience.
I love.
Here we go.
Bought a 4090. This is the reason. Goddamn Cyberpunk, you need to calm down. You need to calm down with this. This is ridiculous.
This is most
4090 is really rendering those.
This is why you were trying to get that graphics card. You saw this, and you're like, oh, I need one of those.
I can't, no, definitely not. I can't get over. I don't think I could ever be this guy. And by this guy, I mean on YouTube with a headset on my head. Right. I get you want us to know that you're really a person, but just take the shot of you out. We can imagine or show us for a second and then go away. I don't know. I just maybe if I had been in Gen 1 VR and had been in VR as long as these guys have, I would be more comfortable just doing a show with a giant thing on my head like that. But I don't know. It's just
I'm just happy.
I would hate. I just feel like at some point, like you're doing a live stream like this, people are like, that dude doesn't know what's going on. Go to his house and rob him. He is literally got a thing over his head. He's talking to a camera. You could clean his whole house before he even knew you were there. Like you're just advertising that you're in some virtual place completely unaware of what's going on in your world. I don't know.
I'm just happy he's keeping his harassment of women virtual for now.
Yes, that's true. Well, as far as you know.
As far as like I'm saying, like, you know, if he's in the VR with the headset on doing this, then he's not out there in the world doing it.
I think he's trying to remark on how this card, this 4090, this $2,000 graphics card, when paired with a game like Cyberpunk, which has recently done an update that literally gives it ray tracing where every pixel is being dynamically lit, right? And then you have this VR mod. And at some point, you are going to have people that are going to choose to live.
That is crazy.
In VR.
That is crazy.
Let's find out. This guy's probably going to be the first one to live 100% in VR.
Oh my word. It feels so good to be back in Cyberpunk 2077 VR and not be settling for 30 to 40 frames per second. This looks absolutely phenomenal.
It does look good.
Incredible.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. And welcome to the first of what I expect will be many VR performance tests on my brand new 4090 PC. I've splashed out, I've bankrupted myself, and
of course he has.
I've bought a PC that can hopefully ensure the smoothest, nicest looking VR content that I can physically make.
It's not true. It's not going to happen because supposedly some new game specs just got leaked. And they're like, even with a 4090, it's only going to do X frame per second at ultimate, not insane. Right. So the developers are already going, oh, yeah, the 4090 is now mid-high. We're targeting for the next generation because they don't want to put out a game that isn't able to take advantage of that extra power.
Like should we as like gamers or gaming, like, should we make games like in maybe like series, for lack of a better term, where we just kind of all like, we're like, this is the highest possible a game can be for right now, and make that like a point?
Too hard, especially now when you're thinking about how people are playing games from 20 years ago, right? So you're trying to make a game that can be played for a while, or
of course,
better yet, the engine, right? So
no, but I'm just talking about like from a graphic perspective, because it's like graphics are great, but I think we all can agree that, you know, graphics aren't the most important thing.
Right, but I think it's not just graphics, it's how many of these NPCs are in the world, right? Like how many objects can be, like, do the bodies disappear? That's
right, like pop in and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. I'm saying, I'm just more so talking about like benchmarks where we're like, almost treat all of gaming like it's all
That's what consoles are.
Yeah, are all consoles. And we just, that way it's like, because like, you know, like you don't want to buy something like a graphic card and then be like, oh, it's obsolete already.
That's just, I mean, that's everything, right?
It doesn't have to be though. It's almost like you can have seasons and be like, okay, we know that the new next level stuff is going to be coming out around this time because we pre-decided like this is when the next level comes. And so it's almost like stuff goes on clearance automatically, you know. So it's almost like seasonal.
Well, but
you know,
what
like
happened was crypto ruined everything, right? Everyone was paying so much for these cards to mine crypto that it inflated the cost. And I think what happened was during the pandemic, NVIDIA saw how much money the scalpers made because they released a product at a fair price. The market then priced that product double what they sold it for. And so this generation, they're like, oh, okay, we're just going to fool everyone, charge double for the stuff we charge single price for last time, and then create these lower tiers that make this one look like a good value. And that's really exactly what they did. And then they, I believe, withheld stock on some of these earlier cards to keep those feeling like value products.
Right. Yeah. That's true.
It's a business, and they're trying to get as much out of these cards at retail because they know that once they're sold, they're going to be gobbled up, and then the premium is going to be added by scalpers. So if they put them at a premium, it's harder for the scalpers to make money. Anyways, this guy goes into a lot of visuals. Like here's driving in VR. And
did you play Cyberpunk?
Yes. I got a little bit way through it. It's very fun, very unique in terms of the aesthetic and the feel. Does feel like, wow, these guys spent a lot of time going like, what could be a cool thing in this cyberpunk world? I know most of the story. It's kind of been spoiled for me, the whole Keanu Reeves aspect and how he is and who he is and all that. But I'm still kind of pushing forward. I was playing it for a while in VR, but I do get just dizzy,
motion sick.
It's just after a while, it's too much. It's
I can imagine
the brain is and that's why the whole Apple device is interesting, because from what I understand, they've figured it out. They figured it out. Like Palmer Luckey, the guy that created Oculus and was kicked out of Facebook, he got a chance to try it, and he tweeted that the Apple VR thing is for real. It's really good. I mean, it's $3,500, and
crazy.
Today, somebody made a little, because they're gonna reveal it in the next month, June. I think it's June or something. So this is what was put together by somebody to kind of demonstrate what the features for this are. Retina ID, so you basically log into the device with your eyes. A Wi-Fi 6E, XDR 4K display with micro retina display.
I wonder if it's going to be like one of those things that can tell you if you're pregnant or not. Like you heard about that? Like how
like moving the blood vessels in the eye. Yeah.
Yeah, and like how it changes.
Reality swap, so you'll be like wearing these things and see the world, and then the digital crown will allow you to lay over the virtual world. So it'll still be your office, but it'll just paint everything like whatever you want it to be. You want it to be like a cartoon. You'll be able to turn the crown, and instantly the same room, same everything, but it'll be painted or aesthetically gothic, Tim Burton, whatever you want, right? 13 camera array for reading your position and your hand's position. What does that say? 3,000 pixels per inch. M2 processor, studio quality mics, Memoji FaceTime, 120-degree field of view, brand new version of Siri, 2 terabytes of storage, prescription lens support, 6-speaker sound system, all your favorite games, and advanced thermal architecture.
So hearing all that, does it feel like it's worth the $3,500?
Knowing that Facebook just released a $1,200, $1,300 crappy version of this, yeah, probably. You're probably looking at like a $2,500 product being sold for $3,500 for the benefit of it being Apple. So like $1,000 markup, over the hardware that supports the software layer. Because essentially what they did, I guess, was they're trying to create this as a new device, right? So if you code, they're going to have versions of Xcode where you can be like 3 floating screens and your Apple keypad like you normally use, but now you're have everything in front of you and you don't need a cinema display. And this could be why Apple hasn't released more monitors. They only sell like 1 or 2 monitors. Maybe they believe that having a bunch of screens that people don't use in a few years isn't the way to go. So they're working on this idea that the weight is going to be significantly lighter than anything else, which will allow people to kind of stay in it all day. And from what I understand, the big screen glasses, which I don't know if anyone has heard about this, but the guys that do the big screen VR app where you can watch movies and all that kind of stuff, they released a headset that you actually use an app to scan your eyes and your face, and they send you your glasses with a custom laser cut insert that's exactly the shape of your face, so that when you put these on, and the reviews I've seen, people are like, it's absolutely almost weightless. Like you don't feel it on your face.
Wow.
And it 100% blocks out the light. So the screens are OLED. So you get this true blacks and the colors are much better. And the only real downsides from what I can tell to the first version is when you look towards the edges, you get a little chromatic aberration, which gets a little blurry. So it's supposed to be good lenses, but the good screens, but the lenses are still kind of a limiting factor. Killer says, can't you get a $400 Air glasses and plug into a Mac? I think there's magic going on with these sensors. I think sensors and not having to limit the processor to what you're wearing. From what I understand, it connects to your phone. Or no, the battery's separate. So you have heat displacement by removing the battery into something. From what I understand, you wear it in your pocket. But that might not be true because whoa.
Uh-oh. Camera down. Look, Apple heard you talking trash. Yeah. They're like, they're like, it might not be true.
I shared a story about a guy that posted on the Mac Studios or Mac forums that he, that he got his sister fired. He was leaking stuff that his sister at Apple was finding out.
How is he leaking? His sister works at Apple?
His sister works at Apple.
And he's leaking Apple information.
Yes. He had
and he's like
on Twitter, and he was using that persona to leak information.
These fools have the same last name. Probably.
No. He had a secret name. But the way he screwed up is Apple will release like PDFs and stuff, and they'll have one piece of the information be different, so that if the leak comes out,
they know who PDF it came from.
His sister had information that included incorrect details about when they recently announced that the iPad was getting Final Cut and Logic Pro, I guess, are the two huge like sound and video editing apps. And they're coming out on the iPad like in a few months. And his leak was that they were coming out in 2024. And only one person, I guess, had the 2024 date in their material. So when he leaked the 2024 part of it, he basically outed his sister as a source.
That's actually pretty smart.
Yeah. Apple's probably been dealing with this for a long time.
For decades, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they set people up. So I'm definitely curious. I would tell you what, I would rather spend $3,500 on Apple's glasses than $2,000 on a 4090.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
I'm curious. I mean, for Palmer Luckey, who invented the Oculus, to come away impressed with what Apple did, that's good, because there's no reason to give them prompts.
Indeed.
Happy about it. Indeed. All right, so let's go to our next video. So, do you know who MKHB is? Marquise Brownlee?
I do not.
MKBHD. He's a YouTuber who makes great content about tech.
That's cool. Okay.
And this is his most recent one, which I haven't watched, but I gotta believe we gotta watch this.
Okay.
He's worth a lot of money now. He built this whole studio. He gets everything.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, really, really good at what he does.
What is that?
Okay, it's kind of hard to believe, but yeah, this is a real product. What I'm holding is the new Dyson Zone air purifying headphones. That's exactly what they're called. You can look it up. So when this first started popping up on actual like Dyson social media channels, I had to double check the calendar to make sure it wasn't April 1st, because seriously, Dyson, are you pranking us right now? It's $1,000 for air purifying headphones. I wasn't really sure what to think. Probably safe to ignore it. But then one by one, videos started popping up on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, and people actually started asking, like, hey, Marques, can you check out those Dyson headphones? Can you check out the Dyson Zone? So that look you see here is me realizing I just spent $1,000 plus shipping on something that I already believe is a terrible product, but I'm still here to do my job and find out anyway. But here's the thing, and probably the weirdest part and most important part of this whole thing, Dyson. This product could only have come from Dyson. It makes no sense, but makes all the sense in the world. So ignoring the whole embarrassing social media campaign around the vacuums for a second, like I love my Dyson vacuum cleaner, right? A lot of people I know have bought Dyson vacuums. No regrets.
they're good.
I love these things. They're great. And then over the years, Dyson has built up like a cult following and loyal fan base over what is basically motors and filtration. Like Dyson is a motors and filtration company, and they've built that out and turned it into some of the most amazing vacuum cleaners in the world. And they're also some of the most expensive. Like seriously, if you want a stick vacuum, you can just get one on Amazon for like $100 easy. But then you kind of get the feeling that Dyson is the brand name that they're all copying. But naturally, you don't stop there, right? You're successful with one thing, but you got to branch out. So what else do you do? You've all seen the Dyson bladeless fan thing, right? I mean, this is almost a legendary product on its own. The Dyson fan / air purifier in the corner of the room of a $500 a night Airbnb. Do other companies make bladeless fans now? Sure, but people want the Dyson one, the $700 Dyson one. Another successful implementation of motors and filtration. There's also the Dyson hairdryer, another cult classic. This thing is absolutely incredible. I don't even use a hairdryer. I actually use this thing to heat up the dbrand skins to put on the back of my phones, and it's awesome for that too. Another successful implementation of motors and filtration. So Dyson is no stranger to charging a lot of money successfully for a seemingly niche product. But that doesn't mean they can't miss. You guys have probably heard about, maybe you haven't, they made a floor lamp too. Maybe you haven't heard about it because it's less successful. It's also $850, so they can miss. You also might have heard about the car prototype that they brought to CES, which like, okay, yes, you make motors, and motors are one part of an electric car, but there are lots of other parts of a car that are really hard. And trust me, a Dyson car is kind of a tough sell no matter what you're going to price it at. So Dyson has a lot of hits and some complete misses. So what's this one going to be? Okay, so this product is part headphones, part air purifier. And I know about headphones, so let's talk about the headphones part first.
Time during the pandemic,
headphones are absolutely wild. First of all, they're gigantic. Like they're absolutely huge. I don't even have to tell you that. Now, a lot of the size will make more sense when we get to the filtration part
like
and everything that's also inside these ear cups later. But just as a pair of headphones on your head, these things are huge. They stick out a lot to the side. But honestly, it's mostly the weight. Okay, so Audio-Technica's M50s. I've talked about those in the past. Very familiar headphones. Totally normal. 288 grams. Not that bad on your head. Then you get to like the heaviest headphones. We talked about how heavy AirPods Max are. Those are 388 grams, which is a lot. These are 588 grams. So it feels like I'm wearing a football helmet. These things are so heavy. Now, there's a lot of metal, but they do try to maximize comfort with these really soft cushions, and the ear cups are super soft and the top of the headphones are soft. And then it's this purple velvet color. The side pieces are more for stability to keep them in place on your head. And honestly, if you're just sitting in one place, not moving around too much, listening to music in a chair or on a train or something, I guess then they're not terrible. It's just the second you start moving around or looking up and down or walking that you really feel the weight. It seriously feels like a helmet. Material-wise, though, it is nothing but the premium materials, I gotta say. The headphone band is metal. The cushions are super soft. The ear cups are metal through and through. You can see the microphones very clearly around the bottom, the USB-C port, and the controls are actually very, very clever. Everything is on the right ear cup, and it's mostly via this little joystick here. So instead of trying to swipe on a finicky touch surface or something like that, you literally tap up and down on the joystick for volume, tap left or right for the next track and previous track. And amazingly, you can actually hold down the joystick to the right or left to scrub forward or backward in whatever audio you're in. And it worked in a bunch of apps for me too, to my surprise. Worked in Apple Music, worked in Spotify, my podcast app. It didn't work in YouTube or SoundCloud, but even, just the thought of being able to fast forward a little bit to the middle of a podcast or something on Spotify is kind of sick. I've never seen that before. But of course, with the super high price tag, you hopefully care about how they sound. So how did these sound? Big, premium, expensive, active noise cancellation, 40 millimeter drivers. Do they sound as high end as they cost? No, they don't. But they sound okay. I mean, they sound like some $200 to $300 headphones that I've heard, even though they're built like $400 headphones. But I'll say the sound overall is pretty balanced and reasonably bassy and punchy in the low end. There's a pretty good passive seal with these ear cups, and then the active noise cancellation does a little extra work for you. It is just a Bluetooth headphone. There's no wired connection and nothing fancy as far as lossless audio or special codecs or anything like that. But, you know, they sound crisp with a little extra brightness in the highs. What's more impressive is, so the active noise cancellation is pretty good, but the transparency mode is actually excellent.
Is he ever gonna get to the part about the mask?
The best I've heard from anything that isn't AirPods. And you can double tap the right ear cup to switch between transparency mode and noise cancellation. The battery life of these is about 50 hours, which is right at the top of its class for noise cancellation headphones with ANC on. They also don't have an on-off switch, so they do on-head detection, kind of like AirPods Max. So when you take them off your head, they go into this idle mode and you put them back on. They play this nice chime. They turn back on, and now you're listening to music again. Ergonomically, they're not anything special, but we know
7.5 minutes to talk about, like, if the filtration part sucks, then this part of the review is pointless anyways, right? So, like, shouldn't you give us...
Listen, neither part matters. Like, why do I need a filtration, a mask, and a headphone?
Pandemic's over now. Meanwhile, 4 people I know have had COVID in the last 3 weeks. I was like, what the heck? 4?
But I'm saying, but I should specialize in a mask and wear specialized in headphones.
Clearly, you're not the kind of guy that buys a printer scanner fax either.
No. See, that's different.
That's all the same.
That should all be one thing. That should all. My filtration system, my air filtration.
I think they're thinking, like, if you work somewhere in a place where you're constantly listening to like music while you work and all the people around you are disgusting, this could be the product for you. But I feel like those people can't afford this.
That's super niche.
I really like him and his reviews. Yeah. They're pretty much the only ones I go to for like stuff that I care about. Yeah.
The production value is amazing.
Amazing.
Because I was looking at the beginning of the video. I'm like, how many people does he have doing camera work?
And like the equipment he uses and the setup is just
it's stunning. It looks great, but gorgeous. I'm just like, dude.
The joystick for the controls, the transparency mode, these are pretty good headphones. So that brings us to part 2. So like I said, this is a 2-in-1 product, part headphones, part air purifier. Let's just completely ignore the why for a second.
Now he really looks like a Splatoon character.
I thought it was going to be the ones they're selling something where you can talk and it doesn't let people around you hear you. So you wear this thing around your face. So let's say you're on a plane, you need to like dictate something, or you're having a conversation. Noise cancellation. Yeah, for anyone around you. It's almost like the Get Smart cone of silence. Remember Get Smart?
I remember. Listen, I feel like we just lost 3/4 of the 3/4 of the audience. We're like, Get Smart. What is he talking about?
Yeah.
Look, man, it's good stuff though. Get Smart was awesome.
I actually got
theme song
crazy nervous the other day because I was looking for something on my phone on YouTube and I saw Get Smart with The Rock and Steve Carell, and I was like, they're doing another reboot of Get Smart, because they did a reboot of it a while back, and I was like,
that was with Steve Carell,
the whole movie, like on YouTube they have the whole movie, but
okay,
Smart Cone, would you believe? And that voice of Maxwell Smart, is also Tennessee Tuxedo from the old cartoons.
I don't remember Tennessee Tuxedo.
You don't remember Tennessee Tuxedo?
I don't think so. Not right now. I mean, what's Tennessee Tuxedo? Like, I might just be forgetting though. I have a bad memory, so Tennessee Tuxedo.
Isn't this top security?
Best.
Well, shouldn't we activate the cone of silence?
I've been having a little mechanical difficulty with it lately.
Don't be ridiculous, Chief. The whole thing is so simple. All you have to do is press this button and turn this lever all the way to the right.
Now, here's our plan.
Hold it, Chief. Okay, go ahead.
First, you take Tanya to your apartment. Make sure you're not being followed, except, of course, by our own men. Meanwhile, I will take 99 disguised as Tanya to a commercial hotel. We'll register 99 and we'll sneak her out of the hotel, making sure that some of our men stay behind to guard her room as a decoy. Have you any questions?
No, Chief, I think that just about covers everything.
And it would fail in different ways.
Yeah, it's so good.
The airport.
How will I know 99, Chief?
Well, 99 will find you and use the following phrase. New York Mets win doubleheader.
Hey, I like that. New York Mets win doubleheader. That's very good.
86, your mission is simple. Find chaos and destroy it. Get Mr. Big, rescue Professor Dante, and bring back the Inthermo.
This may run into a little overtime, Chief.
Max, you realize you'll be facing every kind of danger
and
imaginable.
Loving it.
And loving it.
It's so good. I agree.
It is.
Classic
So
material.
Let me. Yeah. Okay. Ready. Tennessee. Tuxedo and Chumley. Tennessee. You don't remember Tennessee Tuxedo and Chumley? You must not be paying attention to cartoons on Saturday morning.
Chumley, I remember.
Jerboa Jump, arch rival of Tennessee Tuxedo, was surrounded by a group of zoo friends and was holding them spellbound with stories of his rocket ship adventures.
So there I was, see, ready to blast off.
Oh,
They started the
yeah.
countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and kapooey. I was off at 4,000 miles an hour.
Will you listen to that, Chumley? Will you listen to that? All those dopes falling for Jerboa's phony
Maxwell
stories.
Smart.
Hey, who
Yeah.
says they're phony?
I do. Anybody can brag about riding in rockets. Talk is cheap.
Yeah,
And
well, it's not
Chumley's
just
like a big
talk,
dumb
pal.
seal.
I got
Yeah.
clippers
A
here
walrus.
to prove it. Look at that.
Magic
Mice
Tennessee.
blast off from White Sands
Yeah.
Proving Ground. Mice rocket the
I show my
height of
kids
36
cartoons
miles.
like this sometimes. They're like,
Aero B rocket hurls mice into
They're like, no,
space.
thank you, huh?
Ha,
yeah.
How about that, smart guy?
Hey, did you hear what he said?
I show them Barba
How do
Papa.
we know that's
You know the
you?
Barba
Huh?
Papa?
Tell me that.
No,
I
what's
think
that?
You'd be too scared to get into a rocket, let alone blast off.
Yeah,
Barba
Yeah.
Papa.
I
This is
don't
what
think
was on
those
when I was a
clippings are
kid.
about you.
yeah. Well, it's a cinch they're not.
This was what I grew up watching. You guys going to talk about this on Fantastic Forum?
What is that?
They're Barba Papas. They turn into anything.
Well, with Baba Papa, Baba Mama, Baba Zoo, Baba Lala, Baba Lib, and Baba Bro, Baba Bro, Baba Bride, and Baba Bravo. Did you miss that? Baba Papa, Baba Mama, Baba Zoo, Baba Lala, Baba Lib, Baba Bo, Baba Bell, Baba Bride, Baba Bravo.
Scott Rubin.
Yeah.
I'm
You
sad
didn't
to
know
say
that?
that I feel like that might be before my time.
Ah, yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh, yeah. They like turn into different things. They could become a car and drive away.
What?
And then
They're
I was also,
Transformers.
yeah, they're like soft, mushy Transformers from the Netherlands.
Does like a little tribute to those characters.
Oh, yeah.
To
I mean,
Chumley,
it-
yeah, because they,
It was so good.
yeah.
And, the stories
'cause,
were simple, but it spoke to kids, right? Like not a lot of
Yeah,
TV,
no.
what people don't realize now how little television spoke to kids, right? Like now we have so many
Yeah.
apps and so much YouTube and so many things that are aimed at kids, but it was a
That's
very
true.
small amount of programming that was like, hey, you're a kid, you can kind of sit around and enjoy this. And you kind of almost didn't think about the preachy aspect of it because it's like, hey, look, it's like claymation. This is so cool. It's like
Right.
it's all coming to life. Miriam,
Keeping
before
in
I
mind
forget-
too, the
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah.
No, go
No, I
ahead.
was gonna say that stuff back then for kids was super regulated too, though.
Yes.
And so that was part of it too, where it's like not a lot for kids because of like if you start doing stuff for kids, there's like, well, you can't be this, can't be that, and then they deregulated it, and then it kind of
Well, then
exploded.
how do you
But okay?
explain the banana splits? Because that's like an acid trip walking into a kid's bedroom.
I cannot explain the banana splits.
You know what I'm
but going
talking
back to it, no,
What?
which banana splits?
What? You don't even know what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure. No. Banana, like I know Banana Split.
What?
The ice cream.
What?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
La, 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 la. This is on every week. 3 banana, 4.
Not on my TV, Scott Rubin. What are these things doing? Why are they go-kart racing?
They're all on acid, making kid shows in the 70s. Richard Donner. Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
La, la. Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop.
I remember Lamb Chop.
Paul Winchell. You really don't know these names? Crap.
I know Lamb Chop and I know
Seals
Richard
and
Donner.
Croft. That's who this was. Seals and Croft. Right? No, I don't know.
I know
you
Marty
don't know the
Croft.
Banana Splits. It was like a big TV. Like this is what here. This is some of the show. You got to see the show part. You're like, what was this?
The Banana Split presents the Banana Split. And
Hanna
now
Barbera.
here's the Banana Split.
Special effects.
What is happening?
Exactly. That's what I was trying to tell you. Like these people were clearly not worried about any regulation. Look.
It's time for official Banana Splits Club business. Bingo, as official temporary second banana, please check attendance.
Yeah, but we
Oh, I know
all
that
know
voice.
who's here, Flea. Why don't I just check off the names of the members who aren't here?
Hey, how are you going to do that, Bingo?
Well, I'll just say, all the members of the Banana Splits who aren't here, do not raise your hands.
I get it. And the members who aren't here won't raise their hands.
That's it.
I'm telling you,
Then all
this
Bingo will have
times
to
with
do is count the hands that aren't
LSD
raised
and weed taking over
Now
America.
you guys got me
I
talking
believe it.
silly.
Right? Like this
Please,
definitely looks
just
like
call
people got
the
high and
roll.
said,
Well, okay,
F
if you say
Mr.
so.
Rogers and Sesame
Hero,
Street. We need to come up with
Right.
something new.
Hero,
Like we need to
come
get
on,
crazy.
hero.
You know something?
Everything's too boring.
Someday I'm going to roll these bananas into a basketball and bounce them the
So it would
heck
be
outta
like
here.
a little of this, and then they would cut
Hey, Drooper, take out the trash.
to like another skit. And then it would cut to something completely different. All right, let's see what else we have. But you had to rely on sight gags, and you know, it was like very low tech, right?
Mm-hmm.
For Dear Drooper.
Oh, here's one. Dear Drooper, if I build a better mousetrap, will I be a big success? Signed, Inventive.
Dear Inventive, you'll be a success unless somebody builds a better mouse.
And then it would cut to this, kind of like Laugh Off or whatever that.
Yeah, it's like a like laughing.
A variety show.
Yeah, definitely has a variety.
They were a
show.
band. Yeah, they had a band. They had cartoons too.
Oh, jeez.
They had the cartoon with the dog that went, right? You know who that
Muttley.
is? Yeah, Muttley came from here.
Mm. Yeah, I did not know that.
No, look at you. Learning something on the new Nitro podcast about comics.
Yeah. No, well, I don't know if I would call this comics.
Now, is that the same Richard Donner, the movie director?
I would
Gotta
assume.
be, right?
Yeah.
Who would have thought Richard Donner, the film director, would eventually become?
That's how it goes, man. But listen, I'm sorry. I set you off on a tangent. You're about to say before you forget.
Yeah. I want to give this away. A while back on I don't know,
nice.
Black Friday or something, I realized that when you play Call of Duty, the sound is so important. Like
Right.
footsteps coming from there. 3D audio is now very, very good, and 3D audio in games is good. So I got these Turtle Beach. Is it Turtle
Nice.
Beach? No, it's Razer Turtle Beach.
Oh,
Razer
is good too, though.
Yeah. So these are THX compatible, PC, Mac, PlayStation. They do have a dongle. So I actually got this.
Oh, so they're wireless.
Mayor Young. I got this for you, thinking this would help your PC problem. You said, you know what? You basically play mostly on the console. And this, because it needs a dongle, can only work on the PlayStation or a PC. So I figured
Xbox.
Well, not an Xbox. I don't know. It doesn't support. It's not supported.
Oh, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Or at least really they have. Weird. I mean, they have USB. But yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
Even if you put the USB thing into the Xbox, it doesn't work for some reason. So
that's fair.
Yeah, but it's got a microphone on it. I don't use the mic. I use this mic. But if you are in need of an upgrade in the audio department, 3D spatial audio, they sound great. They're
Oh, is that what you're using too?
This is what I'm using. Yeah. I got
nice.
There were two. They were on sale.
Nice.
For a good deal. So I was like, hey, I think they have a new version of these now that have a USB-C plug. These are mini USB, I guess, or whatever, micro USB. But I was using before this, I was using the PlayStation 3D Aura headphone. And those, the cushion part, it's a little small. I have giant ears. So they like hurt my ears. These fit around my ears better. So if you have big ears, these might be better for you. How can you win these? I don't know. Maybe write us an email. Tell us a favorite memory from all games past, or even just, hey, I am playing games and my headphones suck, and I would love to win these. Just tell us why you should win them. They're the Razer 3D audio headset, and next show we'll read the entries and pick a winner. We'll have AI pick
good.
So that we're not,
that's so amazing.
Yeah. So that's our first giveaway. I also have a ton of stuff to give away. We're gonna, as we get closer to E3 2009, no, E3 1999, which I kind of pulled the tapes.
What? He's pulled the tapes, ladies and gentlemen. E3 1999 is back.
Yeah. So I've got, these are the tapes. Okay.
Dang. What format is that?
Even all of them. This is mini DV. So I have a deck that I bought from some guy. It's like a mini DV deck. It actually
oh wow.
Probably at one time was like a $5,000 deck, and I got it for $200 because everything's now
not that
digital. Yeah, you don't need that.
Right. not mini DV.
Yeah. So like these. So in 99, we broke the day parts up and we did live remotes and then rolled in packages. And so we have all that. And what I'm going to try and do is get the week of shows leading up to E3 and the week of shows after E3 so that we can kind of, with old Scott and Jim and Stephanie, see what our thoughts were on what we were excited to see at E3 99, what we were expecting to see, and then our feedback afterward. I believe this was also the year Mark Saltzman was involved in reporting. Mark is very, very popular in Canadian television and radio. He does. He's on local. He lives in Canada, but he's on locally on KTLA, not KTLA. 640 AM. He's on that station with
is that KPFK?
Gary and Shannon. He comes on with them to do a tech segment once a week with Gary and Shannon on KFI 640 AM.
KFI, that's what it is. KFI.
And he's also on Twitter, and he used to be a rock and roll guitarist. He had like a long hair before he got into gaming and tech reporting. But I used to see him on junkets when I was with All Games, and he would be doing his thing. And so I was like, hey, we're going to do some video stuff at E3 this year. Would you want to be a reporter? and nobody was doing video at that time. So he came on board. He did some stuff, and then we have a bunch of other contributors. This is the one where Cliffy B is wearing eyeliner. Oh yeah, the Cliffy B announcement. Did you hear the Cliffy B announcement?
About him making a comic?
He's making a comic, but he's also he's the backer of a Broadway show called Hadestown.
Oh, Hades, like if it's probably be Hadestown.
Broadway.
No, I didn't hear that.
Okay, so he loves Broadway, Hadestown Broadway. He's an official investor in that, and I guess it won all kinds of awards. And now he is doing. He's invested in the Broadway Spears show called Once Upon a Time, the musical. And he announced this on Twitter the other day that he had been working on this. Here we go. This is it
okay. Is it Britney Spears apart? Like
it's
like
her life,
or she
the
in
life.
It?
It's no. I'm sorry. No, it's a new fairy tale written with all the music of Britney Spears.
Wait, what?
Yes,
interesting.
It's called One More Time, a new musical powered by the hits of Britney Spears called Once Upon a One More Time. Okay.
Once upon a one more time. Okay.
Right,
okay. Yeah. Why not?
Right.
Okay.
And he said that he loves Britney, and that's why he got into it, because people are like, this is ridiculous. What are you talking about? He's like, no. This is not a new thing. I love Britney.
Listen, I'm not mad at Cliffy B, man. Like, this fool.
You like what you like. I mean, don't apologize to anybody.
No, exactly. And like,
can you imagine trying to explain to some dumb Gears of War fan like why you wanted to do this? Like, shut up.
Right. And then on top of that is like Cliffy B got like friggin' this ridiculous pile of money that he probably needs to spend to make sure he doesn't get like taxed ridiculously on.
Not only that, he's probably got creative itches, right? Like when you have money,
absolutely.
Your creative juices start to flow. Like, okay, well, money's not an issue. What can I create? So like he's working on this comic now. He's done game. He's probably I mean, he definitely was, very proud of his Britney fandom. Now, I thought Hit Me Baby One More Time was a great song. The video is cool.
It's an amazing song.
I mean, there's a few Britney songs that are good, but I don't know that would transform to me being like, I need to back this Britney Spears musical, right? And then someone kind of pointed out that his wife, who is a streamer, by the way, his wife does kind of look like her.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. I mean, you don't know what Cliffy's wife looks like?
No. Why would I know what Cliffy B's wife looks like?
She's a streamer. She's kind of like
what's her name?
Tom Becky. Not like Becky, but like she's a streamer.
No, I get it. I'm just saying
Lauren.
Okay. I don't know her. How long have they been married? A long time?
Long time.
Okay, so I may have even met her. But
of course you have. How dare you?
Okay, but I just,
There we go. She's on Twitch. Maybe she's live right now. Start watching.
Right next to us.
Maybe she'll have. She is live right now. She's live right now on Twitch. All right, here we go.
Are you serious? Yes. That's hilarious.
Well, check it in. Let's check it in.
I know.
I don't know what she does. She does play games. He talks about her playing games.
I'm not knocking her, mind you. I'm just saying I don't know her.
I would think she was Britney if I saw her.
Really?
Oh,
she looks that, but no, she doesn't look that much like Britney Spears. That you're like, I think that's Britney.
There she goes. She's live.
I don't believe
not that. Britney, huh? No. Oh, there we go.
No, we're not showing us here yet.
How come there's no volume? Oh, here we go.
Instead of being mean, I'm like, I think that's a great game.
Look what she's wearing. Whoa.
Very even. Well, obviously we didn't get as many points, but still, it was a long game. We kept going.
She doesn't look like Britney Spears to me.
It was a very long game. Oh, it's
close enough.
Votes. We don't do that again.
No, I mean, she's blonde and pretty.
First of all, what's going on her page? Is this down at the bottom here? Are those real?
How do I talk in game?
People watching her?
I can't talk in game.
Probably.
You can.
I was just about to
have your audience have little animated characters at the bottom of your oh, that's on the video. That's not I thought that was happening on the bottom of the page. She's got that running in her video feed. And so what is she playing? She's playing
I don't even
Capture the
know.
Flag with some game.
I mean, that's not.
Look what
that's
she's
true, so
wearing.
it's just
Holy crap.
I mean, it's just a low cut shirt, Scott.
Oh, come
Like-
on.
Troll.
That is not just a low cut shirt. That's not
Thanks.
just a low cut.
I mean, oh, she's playing Gears?
Oh, what's up, Devin?
I guess.
Some sort. Wait, what? It says COG. Oh, what kind of Gears is this? I guess it makes sense she's playing Gears.
Want to give this timestamp?
Look, we're like, what game is this?
Oh, okay. Tiger Claw knows everything. Man, I love
Of
Tiger
course.
Claw. He says those you see are called stream avatars. They're actually the chatters on Twitch. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, good.
I mean, I don't know. I guess if I had boobs like that, I would probably show them.
You wouldn't let your wife stream in a shirt like that, Scott?
I mean, if she wanted to show them to everyone.
There you go.
Yes. I'm just worried
See?
about my daughter now.
Don't worry. Your daughter will look terrible in that shirt, Scott.
No, you understand. My daughter is she's on a speedboat down this road. My daughter is on like one of those Italian boats that goes really fast and slow. And it's like so fast that you're like, oh, there it goes. She's speeding towards adulthood, and I'm not happy about it. She's 5.
Right.
She'll be 6 next week, actually. And she's now doing cheerleading. She's doing cheerleading. And, she's little, so she's the one that they want to throw up in the air.
Right.
And I don't know, every time I watch cheerleaders being tossed around by like rag dolls, I'm like, first of all, she's the one that's going to get killed landing on her neck. And second of all those guys are copping feels when they throw the girls. They're like, oh, let me just grab her ass as I throw her up. Oh, I caught you with your breast in my hand. Whoops, sorry. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
and then I just read yesterday, and I feel like every week, another cheer coach is arrested for sexual, whatever. And
the male cheer coaches is who you need to watch.
Male cheer coaches, but it's male soccer coaches, male tennis coaches, male disc coaches.
You're right. All the men, Scott.
Mostly. But you know what? A surprising number of women being arrested as well. Like,
really?
Unbelievable number of female teachers, female coaches. There was one woman who was married and won Teacher of the Year by some organization and was having an affair with a female student and was like threatening the female student via text to not reveal anything because she was going to get in trouble. This is a woman who was recognized as Teacher of the Year, right? So what they do is they find the kids whose maybe parents don't have as much time for them, or maybe it's a single parent, the parent's working. So it's like, oh, you need a ride home, or oh, no one's ever around. That person's really sad and lonely. And so these are the vulnerables. And so the smart kids usually don't get targeted by these predators. It's the kids that like have no self-worth and feel like, wow, this adult thinks I'm cool. This adult thinks I'm pretty. Like, oh, wow. And they fall into that trap. So I get terrified with cheerleading and tennis instructors and because like if I'm a child predator, what field gives me easy access? Boy Scouts, church things, and anything where you're got a bunch of kids that the parents dump them off to babysit.
At the same time, I will say this, Scott Rubin, it's like you said, it's the vulnerable kids, right? The ones whose parents don't have time for them.
Yes.
Lord knows you out here spending quality time with your children.
True.
And speaking as a person who
as soon as the new All Games Network is off and running and I'm on live every day, these kids are probably never going to see
flying all over.
I'm just going to lock the door and I'll have a home studio and tell them to use AI and figure it out.
And I'm just saying, like, look, I grew up in fundamentally a single parent home and was also both a Boy Scout and an altar boy. And I made it through.
Not one time were you molested or diddled or anything?
And here's
like
the
every
thing.
week I hear on the radio people like, if you think you might have been, call us because we're about to sue the church. So if
no,
you
man,
think
and
that someone priest looked at you with half a look, nothing.
And no, I mean, not me. And I can just say, you know, I'm not going to say that, okay, it never
I don't want you to
anybody.
look at that as like they didn't find you attractive because you are.
No, I didn't think of it that way at all.
Just in case.
That's too funny. Look, Kel said, Mayor got touched.
Didn't.
But I did not. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, and I was very, like, my Scoutmaster was like amazing. And when I say that, I mean, it cool. like I literally, like, after I went to college and came back and was like assistant Scoutmaster for my Boy Scout troop for a little while because I wanted to give back to that program because of how much it gave me. You know what I mean? And so it's that same kind of deal where it's like, yeah.
And do you still do anything with Boy Scouts now?
Not right now, because unfortunately my troop kind of dissolved. Like my Scoutmaster moved away and nobody was there to really take the reins. And you know, it's like all of us, like our program was a really young program. And it's crazy because I always tell folks all the time, like my Scout troop was literally like it was in Hawthorne, California, like in the neighborhood. And it's like, I always tell folks, like, literally, my Scout troop, they called me the Boy Scout because everybody else in my troop was basically people that probably would have been in a gang if they didn't join the Boy Scouts.
Wow, really?
And they kind of operated in that way. And so it was wild because we totally got like when we go to like Camporee and stuff, they hated us.
Really?
Because
you were like the gangbanger troop?
I mean, basically, like we were like one of the few troops that were like of color. And so we would go.
And do you feel like that's changed now? Do you think that Boy Scouts is more diverse?
I mean, I can't even say just because I'm not in it like that. Like I haven't been in it in a significant way in the past like 10 years. So I don't know how. I mean, I would assume it's more diverse considering that they're probably letting girls in at this point.
Right.
but at the same time, I don't know because I'm not there. So I'm just like, you know.
All right. So I wanted to show you this. This is new technology. We're talking about AI and what it can do for pictures, but think about what AI could do for gaming. So this is a demo where they're typing in what they want, and it's not making an image. It's populating a virtual
world.
Unreal Engine type, Unity Engine type world, right?
That's crazy.
So
they asked for snow.
Why is there no audio? No audio, but it is essentially typing. Hey, let me see if I can get a closer look. The hills rolled down in stepping motion, covered with greenery. Clusters of trees surrounded areas. Now he's doing recently built road abruptly came to a halt, only furthering slightly in two opposite directions. Near the end of the left branch stood a detached garage, alongside which was a small house with matching roofs. At the end of the narrow road, a much larger house with 2 floors stood alone. The rest of the street was occupied with smaller houses, some large, others small, mostly recently built. Driveways extended beside the houses with a few vehicles parked idly. Electric poles went through the neighborhood with wires hanging. They could see a few trash cans beside the small fences, neatly trimmed hedges, a few plants in front of each porch with mailboxes from the 70s. The neighborhood was fenced with few mature aspen trees. I mean, this is real-time population.
That's crazy.
Of an engine that you will be able to walk through. And there's the lighting.
Wow.
Oh, my.
That's amazing.
And then they just go into more and more demos.
That's insane.
Streets. And this is, if you thought it was easier to build games with Unreal Engine now, what if you speak your level design? And it knew things wouldn't work, right? Oh, this door is too close to that one. And, you know, because AI is essentially infused into the code, it's going to be able to error check, right? So won't this dramatically shrink budgets in an age where it feels like every other budget has to be bigger than the last in order to get better? Now, I feel like these tools for innovation should cut budgets. And I think we're going to see a ton of really high quality independent titles, because it's only going to take 1 or 2 studios that you get fired from for no reason of your own.
Right.
That you and your buddies have enough skill to kind of go, well, we can do this with some of the new tools and not have to give away so much, or at least get the prototype to a place where you can get more favorable terms with a publisher like EA or somebody. So I do think that we're in a very interesting stage, not just for AI art and AI music and all that, but we're talking about AI game development, AI metaverse, VR development. These are all things that used to be out of reach for a ton of people, me specifically. But
right.
There isn't anything I fear about making a game right now, except I don't have the time. But if I had the time 2 years ago, I would be stuck very quickly, right? And I would be dependent on a programmer with a lot of experience to even get something prototyped. But now, with Unreal Engine and AI and tools and Twitter and Reddit and YouTube, I think a prototype is very easy. I have a couple of ideas. One of the ideas I have for a VR game, because a lot of times people don't have a lot of room for playing, right? So an experience that you can have while not moving around too much would be really, really compelling if it's compelling. And one of the things I thought about was, if you're in a jail cell and all of your interaction happens through bars and like a little window, like people walking by, we can grab things, or getting down on the ground to like pass thing to the guy in the cell next to you, or digging something in the wall that connects you. I feel like there's a Prison Break type game that involves multiplayer where you have to use other prisoners in the cell block, have to share items and come up with unique ways. Oh, this prison's on an island, so the only way, we got to get a hold of the blueprints and see where the sewer tunnels and like stuff like that are. But then you have to like recruit members of the prison staff to help you. You might need to get contraband in. You might need to get a saw or something sharp. And so, but all the interaction happens either right in that cell through that thing, or they lead you to an interrogation room where, again, you're just sitting down at a table. It's like all your kind of interactions are happening in this kind of small space. And there are a few games. One of them I think was called Demio, where whatever your space is, it will procedurally generate corridors that have you basically walking around in circles without you realizing you're walking in circles.
Right.
Like, this is an idea that is limited by, again, art assets, and most of that stuff is already built into the game engine. But now that you can create art assets in AI, and you can, I've been watching some tutorials where you can take a single still image of an environment you created with AI, and then you put it into a free tool where you can map vertices so that when it's imported into Unreal Engine, it extracts it as an actual environment in 3D space instead of just the images. So you can like go in and say, like, here you're going to walk through. So this, when you go through it in the 3D engine, it's morphed, right? So it shows you how you can go in and create actual 3D elements to give it almost like a diorama effect. So you're taking this images, and if there's a balcony, it shows you how to like just put points on the images so that it renders out as an actual balcony. And it can look at the colors in it. It's just getting to a point where a team of 1 or 2, and someone like Derek and Burr, these guys who have programming skills, I don't think it replaces them so much as it should make them super coders. Like if I had a little bit of coding skill, I feel like I would be a ninja now.
Look, I hear you. And I mean, it's interesting to think about the idea, because Lord knows we're already in an era right now where sometimes we're blown away by the kind of games that get made by one person.
Yeah.
Like we're there already, because how many times has that happened? We're just like, man, one guy made this? But with this kind of assistance, yeah, you're right. Like one person that happens to be a visionary as well.
Check this out. This is again
could totally like blow it away, blow us all away again.
This is again Unreal Engine. So when you think about modeling a forest for a video game before and then modeling now, proceed being kind of in real time. Watch what happens here. Hold on. So you choose how big the forest is.
Look how good those trees look.
Real time. And then, you want a pathway? It moves the trees out of the way. It does all the math and all the stuff that you just have to make sure that the trees wouldn't be like cut off and halfway, or the textures would blend all along the path. But he's just using geometry in real time and all of the vegetation, and he can decide what kind of trees, what color the trees, how much vegetation, and it's all, look at how easy. There's no coding. There's no coding going on here.
That's pretty amazing.
Teach your kid, you want to get into making games, you got to learn how to code. That doesn't look like coding.
Yeah, right.
Look, he's adding water now.
Yeah, river.
And it's working already. It's rendering already.
That's insane. What's that supposed to be? It's like a church or something?
Yeah, I'm going to jump ahead. Look at, now here it is going through what he just made.
Jeez. That's insane. It's like one of those things, like, that would have been so much work.
So much work.
Like literally,
about, like as a kid learning, right? Like learning how to make a game before was a mountain in front of you of a million things that you had to figure out. And here you can just play around with ideas and concepts and textures and environments and color palettes and time periods. This is medieval, right? So the same engine that he did this with could be used to create space station and moon bases. And this was done so quick.
That's insane.
And the 4090 is one of the things that you kind of need something like that if you really want the real-time effects to happen in a way that is usable. Just amazing. All right. This is
Scott Rubin.
Yes, sir. You have to go?
No. I don't have to go. I wanted to mention before we go that I wanted to talk to you about a rumor I heard, and I wanted to find out if you heard anything about it yourself. So, but continue what you were saying first.
Well, I was just going to, I have a few more videos, but I'd rather hear the rumor.
So have you heard this?
Cowley?
This
Cowley is not a girl.
Cowley?
Cowley is not
That's such a throwback. I love it. Look, have you heard this Disney domination rumor?
No.
Okay. It's okay. Look, it's okay. So supposedly Square Enix and Disney are teaming up to make a Smash Brothers type game. And so it's basically,
cutting Nintendo out of their own
I mean,
genre.
Obviously there are plenty of people that or plenty of other companies that have tried to do this already, like Warner Brothers with their what is that called?
The Rumbleverse.
Right, exactly. Well, is that video? Yeah, something like that. Right.
And it's already closed down. They already finished it.
Right. Exactly. Done. Right. Like, it was a kind of flash in the pan, but obviously when you're like Disney's doing it, that's a different thing.
You want to see the screenshots?
Huh?
You want to see the screenshots?
Well, here's the whole thing. That's part of the rumor, right? People are kind of like, they don't know if they're real or not. Like they say they're leaked.
I mean, look, this guy looks completely trustworthy. I mean, I wouldn't question what this guy said. What about the DCD? Look, did he leak this? Did Robert the DCD?
It's like, listen, all I know is anybody that wears a herringbone is 100% verified on my list, right? Exactly. Like, look at that chain. Right. Multiverses. Thank you, Tiger Claw. Yeah, Multiverses was kind of flash in the pan or whatever. But Yeah, so this thing is basically like saying like, okay, Square and Disney are teaming up to make a Smash Brothers clone, but obviously the implication is like Disney has a ridiculous roster at this point. So, you know, you can have like, I mean, obviously
think about what Disney has done over the last 10 years. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I took my kids to Disneyland, and they had this like light show at night where all the, you know, there's so many rides and stuff, but then they have so many properties now. Not like there's no Moana land, Moana ride, right? There's no there's an Incredibles roller coaster, but there's no Incredibles land, which feels like they should. So they've been incorporating stuff into like these shows, right? There was a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff, and it's just, if they didn't do the Star Wars or Marvel acquisitions, do you think they could really be competing today in streaming with all these other players? I mean,
it'd be much harder.
Marvel and Lucasfilms.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And so when you're talking about a Smash Brothers clone with all of these properties, it's like you can have Iron Man versus Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right.
You can have Peter Griffin versus Homer Simpson.
Are you glad that Disney took these properties and has given them the love and attention? You know, some people obviously critical of all the stuff Star Wars done, but at least it could have been some company that did a really bad job or was underfunded or had some kind of other, I guess you could say Disney does have an other agenda in terms of like diversification and all the things that they think have to be in their movies, which again, whether you agree or disagree, they have the money to execute on the idea. Like imagine if Lucasfilms was acquired by somebody that really shouldn't have had the property. Are you happy with how Lucasfilms, Fox, and Marvel have been shepherded by Disney?
I will say this, like, I feel like for all intents and purposes, from a film perspective, I don't feel like, you know, I remember people saying like, oh, Disney's going to buy Marvel and those movies are going to start tanking. I don't feel like Disney has done anything to hurt Marvel Studios. Any issues that Marvel Studios is having, I feel are
their own, self-inflicted.
Exactly. And so, and you know, and it's the same kind of thing with Star Wars, which, you know, again, I know some people feel different, but I'm just like, you know, like
the Star Wars thing is almost impossible to make everyone happy. Like no matter
it is impossible to make everyone happy.
Somebody's not gonna new stuff, no new stuff. A derivative of new stuff, no derivative of new stuff. It's just no winning.
And don't get me wrong, like I can 100% say, like, if I was like, say, if I was the person that was like, say, the head of acquisitions at Disney that got to make the say in regards to like how things are handled with Star Wars, I probably would have made some different decisions. But overall, I don't think that what they did is like terrible. You know, it's just, you know, it is what it is. Like, here's the thing. When George Lucas was doing it, I wasn't 100% happy.
I mean, look at episode 1, the way people treated that, right? So,
and that's how
was it really in better hands, right?
I 100% walked out of episode 1 like, I don't know about this, and I'm like, okay, like, and I remember like,
specifically the flower daisies scene. Going, it was him and Natalie Portman in the meadow, the one that the meme is from, where
with the sand, where he hates sand, right? That's episode 2, I think. Right.
But episode 2.
Yeah, but it's still, I agree, right? It's like, you know, right. There are
that moment and the moment in the Matrix 3 where there was a rave are like two of my most disappointing.
I love that rave.
Two of the most disappointing cinematic moments of like, I feel like the rave one in the Matrix, I feel like I turned to someone and said, what the fuck did they do to this movie? What did they do to this? I'm 100% convinced everything that went wrong with the Matrix is because of Jada Pinkett.
What? look. What I could tell you is this, Scott Rubin, is those poor people that live in the Matrix world. Come on. Those poor people live in the Matrix world. They got to take every opportunity they can get to celebrate anything. Okay, so that rave makes sense. Now, don't get me wrong. Look, have you seen the latest Matrix movie? Did you see?
No, I did
Resurrection.
not.
Okay,
my whole thing was like the Matrix was only a few people knew about this struggle, and like there was a few people.
Yeah,
and then
it's only a handful of people that live. Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's literally almost like Total Recall. I'm like, what happened to? When did this become a moon base where like everyone parties and hangs out in the cool plug-in underground Matrix bunker? It was just, it felt like Zion, right? That was the name
Zion.
of the.
It's one city.
Where was the city in the first movie? Where was Zion in the first?
You don't even know about the city in the first movie.
They made it up.
No, I mean, listen. You're saying, look, the people that fly the ships have to live somewhere, right?
In the first movie, how many people were flying ships?
It was only one crew.
Yes. Oh, so you're saying that was one of 100 different crews?
Yeah.
Well,
well, maybe not 100, but one of
I thought he was
crews.
The one.
He is the one. See, you didn't play the video game. That's your problem.
I did play the video game.
Look,
the video game was awesome because at the time, if you bought an Xbox or Xbox, one of them, you could enable HD mode. Like there was, the game came out, but it was one of the first games that had HD resolution textures in it.
Into the Matrix, you're talking about, right?
Yes, Into the Matrix.
Yeah.
And the the only real reward for that whole game was that lobby shooting scene, right? Like you get to
it was
experience
awesome.
that. Yeah. The rest of the game was garbage. The rest of the game was hot
how
trash.
dare you? How dare
that game was hot trash. But that part,
I
and
disagree.
it was, bullet time and all that.
Yeah.
All right, Tiger Claw is going to clear something up for me here. He says what happened was The Matrix was huge at the box office. Warner Brothers wanted a sequel and paid the directors a lot of money to work on the second and third movie, as well as the video game. Right. The story was done. And I don't even know if it was ever clarified. Did that woman ever get her day in court where she said, this was my story and they stole it? It was the woman that sued the Wachowski brothers.
Yeah.
That it was her story.
Yeah,
but,
she said she did that and Terminator, I think.
Yeah. So I feel like they made that movie and then nobody knew it would be what it became. Nobody. I don't care who you are. Nobody knew. And so
look,
what's that?
Red Static TV says Into the Matrix is the worst game I've ever loved.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
It was. It's funny. That's David Perry's game too. Shiny Entertainment.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, not only, but here's the best part of Into the Matrix is that Into the Matrix, like the game, was literally like it had cutscenes.
Yes.
That were filmed as the same time as the two sequels.
That's right.
So
David
it's like an entire hour of movie.
Yes.
That's
right.
Exclusive to the
game.
Came
on 2 discs. Yes.
And it's like literally.
I have that game.
Right. And it's literally like all the actors and because like that game is basically following Jada Pickett's crew.
Right. Which is why it failed.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And this is why I have so much love for it, because it's one of those few examples of where video games intertwine with other media in a very seamless way. And I'm not saying the game was perfect, because it's not.
No, it's so funny that you mentioned it, because at the time that was a big deal. Like to get Hollywood to work hand in hand with a game developer at the time of filming. So that's what I'm saying. Create a product. Yeah, it fell short, but I guess for the time, it's pretty epic. I just as someone who loved The Matrix and couldn't believe how badly they soiled with the other two movies.
Listen.
Felt like, you know what it was like to me? It was like when you have this incredible painting and you're like, oh, I love this painting. And then someone's like, can we make another one? And then you try to copy the first painting and it looks like a terrible children's drawing. They tried to extrapolate what would happen if the story continued. And this kind of makes that woman's point is they didn't create that story. So that's why they got stuck, because they basically were faking as the creators and they were extrapolating their interpretation of the movie into a sequel. It was almost like a bitter taste watching it. Like, I remember being upset. I remember specifically avoiding the theatrical release of Matrix 3. And when I finally couldn't, like, it kept playing on HBO 1,000 times. So I was like, you know what? I was like, are you fucking kidding me? These people should be in jail. This is like vandalism of a franchise. Vandalism.
Let me tell you, Scott, don't watch Matrix Resurrections then.
Because
Matrix Resurrection, listen, I was sitting here like, oh man, I'm like, poor Keanu, like he getting older, he lost a step. And then I saw John Wick and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, Keanu's fine, goddamn. It's like, this is just the Matrix. Like the Matrix, they messed around and told a story.
They degraded his abilities in the Matrix.
Oh, dude, it's so
almost
bad, man.
like a computer bug, or you think it was a creative choice, or they actually just didn't realize how much they were screwing it up?
And no, I mean, I think that, I mean, here's the thing. I don't know who made the decision, because I'm certain
the Wachowski brothers did the newest one, right? Or
I don't think it's both of them. It might only be one.
Okay.
But I don't even know. But what I'll say is this. Somebody made a choice that Neo doesn't necessarily need to be fighting the way that he had done in the past.
Because he's just more powerful now. Why?
And here's the thing, right?
Fight if you don't have to.
And so, you know, I want, like, it's not much of a spoiler, but the fact of the matter is, like, his entire, like, combat whole thing is relegated to him just, like, going, like,
pushing the force, like
and pushing stuff, people, right? But not even as cool as the Force, because you know, it's like, dude, like, and it's sad because there are other people in it that fight, but obviously they aren't the main characters, so you don't see them as much, you know.
But do you think it's more of a statement on violence, right? Like woke culture creeping into the Matrix, like in the future you don't have to fight anymore, but you just push it.
Absolutely. It's not it has nothing to do with violence. It has to do with somebody deciding.
Can you imagine, like, someone releases a martial arts movie and everyone shows up and they're expecting like a Bruce Lee movie, and the whole movie the guy's just like,
that's what it's like. That's exactly what it's like.
Where ridiculous.
That's like, exactly
why wouldn't
what
anyone
it's like.
see that as like
and
on production? Nobody's like, hey, I know I'm just a PA, but is this really the fucking movie? Like, no one says that in the process.
And here's the
Keanu doesn't say that.
Like, here's the whole thing where it's like Keanu Reeves, obviously, like, he's not a diva, and he's not the kind of dude that's like Keanu Reeves is the kind of person that like takes less pay to make sure everybody else gets paid, right? So I don't feel like he's the guy that didn't want to do the work. So I'm just like
the guy that didn't want to say no to everyone having another payday on the Matrix.
I mean,
Carrie Moss, I'm sure she's working, but the Matrix is probably the best thing that ever happened to her, right?
So
why
I don't,
not?
right.
It happens a lot with bands like the Grateful Dead, right? Like they don't want to stop touring, but then they put 200 people out of work who all work on those concerts.
Right. And so I don't know what, like, I don't know if it was part of maybe an agent of his made a negotiate. I don't know what it was, but all I know is don't even watch it. Because if you're like, oh,
really? Don't
these last
even
two,
watch it. Not even to see how bad it is.
If you feel like those last two movies are a bastardization of what the Matrix is, I promise you will watch Resurrection and you'll want to jump out of a window, Scott. You'll be like, oh my God. I couldn't
What
believe
does Rotten Tomatoes do about them? What's it called?
I
Matrix,
don't know.
What? Rotten
Resurrection or Resurrections?
Matrix
I don't know. I was shocked because I was like, man, like I was looking forward to it and I was ready to watch it. And when it came out, I watched it and I was like blown away because I mean, it's like it has
63%. That seems high. You know, they gave Jada Pinkett Smith's Cleopatra movie the lowest rating of the lowest Rotten Tomato of any movie in history.
I'm like, what movie
Cleopatra?
Is she made Cleopatra. When
they're
did that
mad
happen?
because she made Cleopatra with an African American woman, and they think that that's revisionist history.
Oh, I mean,
wasn't she Egyptian?
I mean,
she wasn't white.
Egyptian. I mean, I don't know that she's Egyptian either. She might actually be
white.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Queen of Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt. It got a 2% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
I think they just don't like Jada, because I heard that even Will Smith's movie that he did with Apple TV Plus, which I heard was good, no one even wanted to give it anything because of what happened. Like they weren't even willing to give it like a fair shake. I didn't see it. Did you see it?
No.
Okay. All right, let's quickly look at. Should I not look at this? The leaked flyer.
There is a all new Smash Bros. Before I get
sorry,
killer that you shouldn't use that phrase. Hear me out for a second. Hear me out for a second.
His wife just beat him up. I don't think this guy's just got in trouble.
Flame face. And of course,
this guy's chain is killing
Spider-Man with his own.
This looks like one of those guys that they added to the last season of Walking Dead.
Appears to be some stages.
Guy that plays violin.
What's telling for me also is what appears.
Right.
Really is a massive.
My God. Why did I click
carrier?
This? Goodbye. Go away. Oh, what a complete.
But needless to say, if Disney is actually making a Smash Brothers clone, as long as it doesn't even have to have good gameplay. It can just have decent gameplay, and that's something people will play. Because the possibility, I mean, they have, like you said, Star Wars, Marvel, Disney, friggin' all the Fox properties. And they're going to team with Square, so that means they probably
Didn't Fox used to have the Simpsons at Universal? Doesn't Disney have them now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are they going to move the Simpsons to Disney?
They got Simpsons. They got Family Guy. They got all that stuff. Look, they got Indiana Jones.
Leave the Simpsons. My kids love the Simpsons. Like they've been watching the Simpsons for a couple of years now, and they're totally inappropriate. But I used to watch the Simpsons when I lived at home with my parents.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I remember.
Listen, we remember the Simpsons from the Tracy Ullman show.
Yeah.
Before they had their own joint.
So awesome.
As a skit. And that joint is one of the longest running shows on television, period.
Do you believe that the writers of The Simpsons, who all come from Ivy League, they're the best of the best, they're handpicked. Do you believe that they use that show to pre-program or pre-telegraph things, or do you think it's all just
coincidence?
There's a pretty good list.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean,
here's my favorite one. A lot of people think I'm a conspiracy guy, but this is one of my favorite. This is SNL. The week before, or a couple of weeks before 9/11.
What?
News. Hold on.
Wait, what? Oh my God.
Okay. Colin Quinn, right? Colin Quinn. Remember him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I have a feeling they scrubbed it from the internet.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is
they took your clip. Well, tell us about
Here it is. Here we go. And
okay, good.
I got it. You can't keep it from me.
I mean, the internet's a big place.
That's right. All right, here we go. Switch to this one here. No.
We still do that on Fantastic Four sometimes.
Oh, really?
When we're in between. Oh, yeah, we're like, no.
Right,
Mo likes doing it.
Hold on. Okay. So these are jokes about a year before 9/11. And they all relate to 9/11.
Texas Governor George W. Bush this week blamed President Clinton for the recent increase in gas prices and said if he were president, he'd abolish the gas tax and, if necessary, go to war with Alaska and steal their oil.
Twin Towers.
Indicted the man known as the East Side Rapist, even though he's been identified only by his genetic makeup, making this the first indictment ever based on a DNA profile. Police are now offering a reward for information leading to the arrest of this man. In international news, a Hong Kong-based news magazine reported this week that suspected terrorist leader Osama bin Laden is dying of kidney failure. The reclusive bin Laden is reportedly hiding in the mountains of Afghanistan and is on a dialysis machine being peddled by 2 of his followers. And this week, a judge sentenced a convicted murderer to be strangled, cut into 100 pieces, and then thrown into a vat of acid. And that was the plea bargain. Passengers on a commercial airline flight Thursday averted disaster when they tackled a man who attacked a pilot in the cockpit and attempted to grab the controls. Fortunately, order was restored and the aircraft was allowed to crash on its own.
So there's an airplash crane joke and a bin Laden joke in the same episode.
Right. That showed the Twin Towers.
There's actually more. This is not the clip I saw. There were more.
Oh, okay.
Anyways.
No, I mean, that's
down that route.
eerie. No question. It's definitely eerie.
Yeah. Passenger attack and bin Laden in the same clip a year before. Okay. Moving along. We're going to go here. This is a life-size gaming simulator.
What?
Siri, enter gaming mode. Wait, this sucks.
A few months ago, I made this virtual window to anywhere using 3 huge TVs. The concept was cool, but it was pretty limited in what it could do. Now it's time to teach it some new tricks.
Sheesh. That joint looks beefy.
I wish I was one of these guys.
You can be, Scott. You can be.
Time. There's some people that are so good at building things, no matter what it is. I saw some guy build like a Ferrari from scratch. He like molded every single part, put it all together, built the engine.
So by far, the biggest flaw in the design of my TV window was that it was all run on 3 separate USB sticks, and the TVs didn't even communicate with each other.
Yeah, that's not good.
But thanks to the magic of the internet, I got thousands of comments telling me how to fix this issue.
Oh.
So I just went on Facebook Marketplace and picked up this couple-year-old gaming computer for about $1,500 Canadian.
Canadians,
I plugged
they
each one
do
of the
everything.
screens into
I
the
love
computer's
Canadians.
graphics card using some HDMI to DisplayPort adapters.
So those are
and then fired up
basically
the TVs.
TVs on their side.
Yeah.
Like 50-inch. So awesome. Like
That's
this
crazy.
is what you do in your 20s.
So right now the
when you're
computer's
single.
recognizing each TV as its own monitor. So after adjusting the settings to have everything in portrait mode,
The bezels
I can
suck
go
though.
ahead with setting it up to have the
Those
whole
bezels
thing
are
interact
huge.
as one screen
Yeah,
instead of
they
3
are.
separate monitors as it is right now.
I
And the
do
key
feel
to
like
merging all 3 of these screens
you could do this
together is
with a
this
VR
NVIDIA
headset.
graphics card. I really never even knew this
True.
was a thing because
Better.
I've never really been a PC gamer. Plywood.
Oh, wow.
He just
And a
builds
shelf,
everything.
and then I work it in with a white applicator pad. LED strips on the TV. It sends it to any Govee device you want that you've connected.
Oh, look at that. He's doing the outline with LEDs to match. So it's like the light from
Yeah.
the games.
Sand.
Can you imagine
I feel
his
like you
girlfriend?
Then
like,
I used a half
Right.
distortion
still
bit to
working on
drill
that
all of these
thing? When are we
adjustment
ever
holes.
going to have a life? As soon as he finishes, he's like, wait, do you see my next project, honey? She's like, oh, fuck. Another one. Like these people take all their time to do this stuff. Like, when do they have
That's
time for anything else?
crazy.
Yeah, I want one of those.
Have you seen the preview for the wait, is it Forza? Is it the Forza movie? or is it?
Oh yeah,
Gran Turismo.
The Gran Turismo movie.
Gran Turismo. Have you seen that?
I saw the trailer. You want to watch it?
Sure. Look, I've seen it. Look, I went to the movies and I saw it. And
you saw the movie?
Wow. No. I'm sorry. I saw the trailer.
Okay.
Because it's not out yet, I don't believe.
Okay. Was it good? Did it look good?
It did look good.
Like Fast and Furious kind of thing?
No.
It's
a different kind. It's more of a it's less Fast and Furious and more Mighty Ducks. You know?
Okay.
Because the whole idea is like literally taking the guys that play Forza. I'm sorry, Gran Turismo. Damn. Like Gran Turismo was like, we spent all this money. No, like it's taking the guys that play Gran Turismo and they're having a tournament and saying like the top Gran Turismo player can learn how to drive for real to drive in an actual race.
Okay.
So it's a sports movie.
I'm surprised they haven't had that with like Call of Duty, where it's like the army needs one guy to go in and control this drone or whatever. And they like go to like the CGL, whatever championship, the Warzone championship.
Yeah.
And right after the kid wins, it's like, Mr. Doms, come with me. It's
right.
Like, the country needs your help, right? Isn't that like The Last Starfighter? That was the movie, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I mean all those movies. That's all the same thing.
Right.
Last
so why don't we
Starfighter,
have
Wizard.
that? I want that game. I want that movie.
They're not gonna look. I feel like the army is not gonna we all know the army recruits from people that play those games. Like those games get the primary reason we even have military simulation shooters is because the army wanted it to train people and to try to find
I have a
people
solution for the army's growing low
lack
enrollment
rate.
Skins. Like when you enroll, you get like a unique skin, right? It's all the rage with young kids, right? Like if you told kids you enlist every month, you get a new skin that's only unique to you, and you can sell it afterwards and let it have a secondary market.
I want to tell you that that's a dumb idea that won't work, but I'd be lying. I would be lying to you, Scott Rubin. I feel like that joint would work.
Yeah, there was a great post this week about a woman who wrote how her son got a delivery and she noticed that the son got this delivery and she was curious what it was. And she went up to his room and he had a laptop and it was an expensive laptop. And she was like, this is not good. Where did my son get the money for this? And she was very angry at him. And she thought that he was selling drugs or doing something illegal to get money to buy this thing. And he was like, no, it's skins. And she's like, what skins? And she's like, I got an education on the $22 billion digital collectible marketplace and how my son bought these skins a year and a half ago and just recently sold them and used the money to buy a computer. And how, it's just a generation that doesn't understand that marketplace. But it's not a bad thing. It is almost 3. It is 3:00. And I have to go pick up.
It's time to go.
Boy Wonder. My son is pitching again. He's been pitching lately. I was a terrible athlete. I was a terrible baseball player. They made me play baseball. I would sit in the outfield begging the ball not to come my way because then I couldn't screw up. If the ball never got hit to me and I went back to the dugout, nobody could say, what are you doing, Ruben? What's the problem? You fucking idiot. Like, that was usually how it would go if the ball was hit my way. And my son's been pitching and striking guys out, and he's committed and he practices. And it's amazing to see. Like, I know he likes games and I like games. I know he likes candy. I like candy. Ice cream. He's good at something I'm not good at. And this is fun. It's fun to see him have this like ability that I didn't have. And I watch it and I'm just like marveling, like, wow.
Where do you think he got it from?
My wife's side of the family, they're all athletes. My wife was an athlete. My father-in-law is like a 3 handicap golfer, played basketball in college.
Wow.
My sister-in-law has multiple basketball champions from local valley stuff. Her name is on the wall in the gym in Sherman Oaks there. And my dad and my grandfather were both huge baseball fan, played baseball.
Wow.
My father was a baseball coach. I just didn't get any of that.
But who taught him how to throw?
We did. I mean, throwing a ball is not hard.
Who taught him how to throw good?
Yeah, no, it's not throwing how to throw good. Remember, he's striking out 6-year-olds and he's striking out 7 and 8-year-olds. So a lot of the time,
so he's not that good, is what you're saying.
He's not that good, but he's good enough to strike out 7-year-olds, and that's really the benchmark, right? Like
there it
now,
is.
The runs that by the way, his team has not won a single game.
Damn,
not one. They've played. I think they might have played 10 games by now.
He's like, y'all, I have y'all on my back.
There's like him and a couple of other players are good, but some of these guys can hit. The problem is the ball is hit, and a lot of them don't know where to throw the ball. So they'll hold the ball, not wanting to throw it to the wrong place. And while they're holding it, the batter gets to first. And then after the guys at first, they go, oh, I should throw it to first. They throw a terrible ball to first. It goes past the first baseman. He goes to second. First baseman throws it to second. It goes into left field. That guy goes to third. And until you throw it to the pitcher, they can keep running. So it's a whole thing. But he loves it. He's good at it. He's got a coach that actually knows how to coach, and so the coach is coaching him.
There it is.
It's
maybe somebody will teach him how to like pitch at the next level.
That's the thing. We're hoping that the Sierra Canyon people, their baseball coach, and he starts football in a little while. So we'll see if my son gets a concussion. That'll be awesome.
Does he know
everyone
that
out
he's
there,
going to get hit?
He doesn't care. I'm like, you're little, and you're going to get hit one time and never want to play. And he goes, nah, I want to play. He's like, I want to play. I'm like, all right, see you in the OR.
And listen, but that's how you know you raised him right, man. The dude has confidence.
Right. And that even though I am saying you don't want to do this, you're going to get hurt, which to me, that would be enough for me to be like, oh, I don't. He's like,
for me as a little kid,
yeah,
my mom's like, you're going to get hurt. I'm like, I don't want to be hurt.
Yeah. Well, one of his classmates' dads is a professional NFL player. One of his besties in class is the offensive tackle for the Buffalo Bills. He was on the Titans. He was all pro. He went to the Pro Bowl last year. So
amazing.
Yeah. So he's like, he loves sports. He loves football and loves to play. He's slow. So I'm
good
hoping
for him, man.
He like gets a little speed in his course. To everyone tuning in, thank you. If you want to win these, all you got to do is tell us why you want them, what's going on in your gaming world, and why you want some 3D position. A lot of their awesome sounding. I really one time didn't have my headphones and put in like a pair of regular headphones, and I was like, holy shit, playing without 3D audio headphones is a disadvantage in the game. Just spatially, you're at a disadvantage. So these are great. Email us, Scott at All Games or Scott at Nitropod or whatever. Forums, Discord. We'll see you next time.
Take it easy, everybody.